Good afternoon, and welcome to another beguiling version of Diatribes from the voice of doom. Now here's your beleaguered and belabored host, voice of doom. Hello. Okay, I'm going to do a boring one. A little bit of information here because I've been seeing a few things that have a lot in common. An overriding and overarching theme. And then it ties a bunch of crap together. Now, one thing that's been annoying me very much lately is when Karine Jean-Pierre, or sometimes even Petri Dish, shows up and touts themselves over the greatest administration in the history of what used to be the United States. They've done more than any other president in history. Now, what they've done is debatable, but they've done more. And whenever somebody has the actual audacity to say, well, what have you accomplished? They never talk about anything like prices or alleviating war, peace talks that may be going on, or anything like that. What they do is they say, we created 2 million jobs. We've created more jobs than any other president in the history of what used to be the United States. It's always what they say. Creating jobs. Now, I've already told you about creating jobs. The government does not create jobs. The only jobs they create are bureaucratic jobs, and they should be getting rid of those. So that's a ridiculous concept. The only jobs they're creating is the jobs that people have to get second ones of. I have to get a second job to make ends meet. Those are the jobs they're creating. But they pat themselves on the back and tout themselves over and over again. And that's all they say because that's all they have to go on. So I get sick of that. Get really sick of Petri Dish talking about all the jobs he's created. He can't even create his own job. But I got onto the idea and subject of jobs and labor and strikes, since this is the first week of September, where we commemorate the working class. And I saw a little snippet on YouTube about the UAW, United Auto Workers, planning on going on strike if they don't get their demands met. You want to know what their demands are? They want to make 46% more in their paycheck because that's how much the CEOs made. And they also want to work 32 hours but get paid for 40, amongst other things. Now, a UAW worker makes $32 an hour on average, which ain't great pay, but it's not bad. You work 8 hours and you're bringing home about $250. Well, you're making $250. You're bringing home about $180 or $170 a day. So you work, that should be enough to support a family in a one-story walk down in Culver City. The union president of a UAW union shop makes $660K to $1.1 million per year. Now, what they're doing to earn that money, I don't know, but before I go into a little bit of weeds with all this crap, let me just say that now is not a good time for anyone to go on strike because they're shipping in lots of workers who can replace you, and you just can't keep on trying for more money. That happened in the 70s. You want to know what happened in the 70s? They were going on strike all over the place. We moved to Hawaii in 1970 just in time for a longshoreman's ILWU strike, which in Hawaii, that has an impact. They have a lot of clout in Hawaii because you stop shipping things in and we get shortages, and that's what we faced in 1970. Unions were started because workers were being exploited, pure and simple. And it was obvious and it was unjust. And they figured if we band together, then we will shut these companies down until we get some recompense. Which was all well and good, but it did not take long before the long arm of the unlawful got their sticky little fingers into the unions. They knew there was a lot of union dues, they knew there were pensions, they knew there were all kinds of money floating around, and the mob was going to get their share of it. So the mob took over the unions, and they've been taken over ever since. What other malfeasance has gone on with the unions? Well, we know about the teachers' union, how they kept kids out of school because they really just didn't want to work, and they wanted to get paid to not work, because we all know the story about kids and certain maladies and school. It was all a scarecrow, a straw man, a pile of crap. Everybody knows it. And yet they still hold the teachers union in high esteem, and Petri Dish is the best so-called president for unions that there has ever been. And that stands to reason, because the unions are all corrupt, and he's the most corrupt whatever he is. And so it stands to reason they would be buddy-buddy. But this whole union thing, job creation, sickening. Let me tell you what's going on right now. WGA, Writers Guild of America, has been on strike since May 2nd. They want residuals from every streaming thing that's going on. There's 5 million different networks of entertainment going on, and they want residuals, and they also are afraid that CGI, or whatever the hell it is, this chat GPT, is going to take over their jobs. And I would be afraid too. I would be very afraid. Well, SAG-AFTRA followed suit on July 13th in support. That's the Screen Actors Guild. Now you'll notice that it hasn't affected anybody one little bit. It hasn't affected me at all. I'll never go to the theater again, ever. But even most people probably aren't noticing. You know, want to know one reason why? Because of this thing. There's more entertainment available. You cannot possibly watch it all in a million lifetimes. Every dipweed and dogweed is making their own productions, and some of them are pretty damn professional. So it stands to reason that the SAGs and the WAGs are going to go by the wayside eventually. Everybody will do their own writing, and everybody will do their own performing. So they're a dying breed, and then they go on strike. They're striking while the iron is very cold. Disney's going under. There's more streaming platforms than there are stars in the sky, and they're trying to get a piece of the pie while there's still a pie left. Now, I'm going to go. I just checked out how many strikes are actually going on right now, and I got more information than I wanted, and it's very boring, but let me give you some factoids. The longest strike right now has been going on since June 30th, 2021. 50 members of the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees have been on strike. Now, that's not that interesting, but what's interesting is their job description is professional, scientific, and technical services, administrative and support, and waste management information. That's the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees. Don't understand what the connection is. Hotel workers of Los Angeles have been on strike since July 20th, 23. 1,750 workers. They want pay, more health care, more health and safety, racial justice, retirement benefits, and demand permanent jobs for replacement workers. Racial justice. Somehow the unions have been tied in with this wokesterism, and it's all one big conglomerate of crap. Oh, we're going to go on strike because there's not enough Mongolians in our workforce. Give me a break. United Electrical Workers have been on strike since June 22nd, 23, 1,400 workers. They want more pay, they want more job security, they want the right to strike over grievances, and they want to invest in and build green locomotives. Now, it doesn't seem like it'd be that hard to get a bunch of spray paint and make them green. That seems like it would cost very little money, so I don't see why that's a issue. I found a bunch of other crap, but we all know that these unions have outworn their welcome. The best way to handle labor management disputes is with the free market. You don't like what you're getting paid, leave. If you're talented, you'll get hired elsewhere. It'll be just like when you have a pizza war, you see. One pizza place in town lowers their price, and the other lowers their price less, and they lower it less, and less and less and less until they're finally down to the bone where we can't lower it anymore. And then it starts going up again. But if you have an auto plant and they don't think they're getting enough, you just leave. And you go to another auto plant and say, I'm very talented. I've worked in this for 10 years, so, you give me this amount of money. And the ones that want to succeed will pay you what you are worth, which is very rare on this planet, people getting paid what they're worth. Because there's people sitting on their spotty behinds making millions and millions of dollars. They don't deserve one bit of it. But I didn't say a whole lot. I just wanted to do a little thing on labor. I know it's late, but it all ties together because I was really getting sick of this job creation business. I wish he'd create one other job called president. Create that job. Get an opening there. So I'll leave it there. I don't know how good it was. It was just a little bit of information that maybe a lot of people didn't know. And we'll discuss this later as the world falls apart. I don't think we're in any position to have anyone strike anywhere right now. I think if you have an income, you're one of the lucky ones. So don't strike when the iron is cold. All right, good night, and have a good one.